The storm had passed, but the sky still looked bruised. Grey clouds rolled like smoke overhead, and the trees swayed like they were whispering secrets of something gone terribly wrong. Sergeant David Reynolds stepped off the bus with one thing in mind: home. 3 years of deployment, 3 years of survival, all for this moment. But the silence that greeted him wasn't peace, it was absence. No wife, no kids, no welcome sign, just a rusted gate and a front porch sagging with time. He opened the door to a house that didn't feel like home anymore. Dust clung to the air like ghosts. Photo frames hung crooked on the wall, the smiles inside them faded. Then he heard it. A sound so soft, he almost thought it was the wind. A whimper. He froze, and then he ran, through the kitchen, out the back door, across the tangled yard, to the porch. And there she was, Bella, his golden retriever. Once the life of the house, now a shadow of who she was. Her fur was matted, her ribs sharp under thin skin, and her belly swollen with unborn pups. He dropped to his knees. "Bella," he whispered, voice cracking. She looked at him, weakly, wagging her tail. And that was the moment everything changed. He lifted her gently, whispering, "I'm here now, I'm not leaving you again. David laid Bella on a blanket in the living room, the same room where she used to jump up on the couch and steal popcorn during movie nights. Now she could barely lift her head. He filled a bowl with clean water, crushed soft food into small bites, and fed her by hand. She licked his fingers gently, her eyes never leaving his. "How did this happen?" he whispered. Then the questions started swirling. Where were the neighbors? Where was his wife? Who let this happen to the dog who once protected their children like a guardian angel? He grabbed his phone. The screen lit up. Her name still lived in his favorites. Lisa. The line rang 3 times before she answered. "David? Why didn't you tell me she was pregnant?" he asked, trying to hold back the storm rising in his voice. There was silence on the other end. "I didn't think you'd care," she finally said. "You didn't think I'd care?" he repeated, stunned. "I was drowning, David. The kids missed you. I couldn't do it all. I thought Mr. Harris was feeding her." "The old man next door?" David laughed bitterly. "That was your plan?" Lisa's voice cracked. "You were gone." David stared down at Bella. "Yeah, and she waited for me even when none of you did." He hung up. There was no yelling, no screaming, just heartbreak. That night, the storm returned. Lightning cracked like gunfire across the sky. Rain battered the windows. Thunder growled in the distance like a warning David could feel in his chest. Bella whimpered. Then she let out a low, guttural cry. David turned, and everything in him froze. Her breathing had changed. Her body tensed. Water pooled beneath her. She was in labor. Panic hit like a punch. He grabbed towels, blankets, a flashlight. He had no idea what he was doing, but he wasn't about to leave her side. "Okay, girl. Okay, I got you. You're not alone." One by one, the pups came. Tiny, wet, fragile. David wrapped each in a towel, rubbing gently, just like he'd seen in training videos he watched hours ago on a broken phone screen. The 5th pup cried the moment it hit the air, but the sixth was silent. "No. No, come on," David pleaded, holding the tiny, motionless body in his hands. He rubbed its chest, blew gently into its mouth, whispered to it like a prayer. Nothing. His heart sank. The house blurred around him. And then, a twitch, a gasp, a soft, shuddering cry. The pup was alive. David let out a sharp breath and clutched it to his chest, eyes full of tears. He gently placed it back beside Bella, who nudged it with her nose. "You did it, girl," he whispered. "We did it." And in that moment, as the storm rolled on outside, something broke free inside David, too. The soldier had come home, but now he was becoming something more, a protector, a father, a promise keeper. 2 weeks passed. The house that once felt like a ghost town now pulsed with new life. The pups, tiny as teacups, were growing fast, nipping at each other's tails, squeaking with excitement, every time David entered the room. Bella was healing. So was he. But then, a knock at the door. He opened it, and time stopped. Lisa, and behind her, Max and Lucy, their children. Max held a stuffed toy. Lucy clutched Bella's old tennis ball. Max missed her, Lisa said. They both did. David didn't say anything, just stepped aside. The kids ran inside, and when they saw the puppies, it was like someone flipped the light switch in their hearts. "Puppies!" Lucy screamed. Bella wagged her tail for the first time in weeks, barking softly as the kids buried themselves in fur and laughter. David stood in the doorway, watching it all unfold like a dream he'd forgotten how to believe in. Lisa stood beside him. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. He nodded. Words could come later. For now, this moment was enough. Later that evening, as Max and Lucy napped in a pile of blankets and puppies, David and Lisa sat on the porch. The silence wasn't tense anymore. It was calm. "You look different," she said. "I feel different," he replied. There was a long pause. "I don't know what we are now," she added. "But the kids, they're happy." He nodded. "We all are, for the first time in a long while." Just when it felt like things were coming together, life struck again. It started with a strange silence. The smallest of the litter, the little miracle pup, wasn't moving. She didn't bark, didn't eat, didn't even blink. David noticed it first. He scooped her up, wrapped her in a flannel, and ran to the truck. Bella jumped in beside him without hesitation. She knew something was wrong too. At the vet, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, cold metal tables, the antiseptic smell of fear. The vet took Jazz from his arms. David sat in the waiting room, knees bouncing, gripping the edge of the seat. Bella paced beside him, whining. Then the vet returned, face grim. "She might not make it," she said softly, and with those 5 words, the fragile piece David had built started to crack again. He walked outside, Jazz still in his arms, the sky grey and heavy, like it knew what was happening. He sat on a bench and looked at the tiny puppy pressed against his chest. "Don't you quit on me," he whispered. "You fought to breathe once. Do it again." Bella stepped forward, nosed the flannel open, and gently licked her pup's head. And then, movement, a twitch, a yawn, a tiny cry. Jazz was alive. David laughed, a deep tear-choked sound, and clutched them both. "She's a fighter," the vet said in disbelief. David looked at Bella. "No," he said. "She takes after her mom." Weeks passed like a gentle breeze. The house that once echoed with silence now hummed with life. Barking puppies, children's laughter, the sound of tools as David built a brand new doghouse in the backyard. Max and Lucy painted it with swirls of blue and yellow. Lisa planted tulips around the fence line. Bella stood tall again, strong and proud, watching her pups play. For the first time in years, it felt like home. Then came the knock that made David smile for real. Mr. Harris. The old neighbor, now in a wheelchair, grinning with a bag of treats in his lap. "I heard the squad was back," he said. "Figured I'd report for duty." David laughed and wheeled him into the yard. The pups swarmed him like he was their general, and that's when the idea hit. A backyard barbecue. Not a fancy one, just family, neighbors, and healing. The grill sizzled. Kids played tag. Bella sat regally beneath the oak tree, as if she were queen of the yard. David stood by the fence, paper plate in hand, watching it all unfold. Lisa joined him. "You did all this," she said. "No," he replied. "She did." He nodded toward Bella, now curled up with her pups, as Max tucked one under his arm like a teddy bear. The golden light of sunset wrapped the whole scene in warmth. For the first time it felt like the storm was truly behind them. Not forgotten, but survived.
It wasn't long before the backyard became a sanctuary. The tulips bloomed, the pups grew stronger, the laughter never left. But one evening, just as the sky turned gold, David grabbed the leashes, and something inside him said, "This is the moment." He called out, "Lisa, Maximum, Lucy, let's go." And so they did. The whole family together walked beyond the gate, down a gravel path leading through the open fields behind their home. Bella led the way, tail high, pups playfully nipping at her heels. Max tossed a stick. Lucy skipped ahead. Lisa laughed. Really laughed, for the first time in years. David walked at the back, hands in his pockets, soaking it all in. The sun stretched long shadows across the earth, bathing the world in orange and gold. Birds chirped softly above. The grass swayed like waves. He looked ahead at the people and the dog. He thought he had lost. But they weren't lost. They had been waiting, healing, growing. And now they walked together toward whatever came next. He whispered softly, almost to himself. I went to war searching for peace, but I didn't know it was waiting for me. Right here. The pups barked, breaking the quiet. Bella turned, as if to check if he was still following. He smiled. Yeah, girl, he said. I'm coming. Some heroes wear uniforms. Some have wagging tails. But the bravest? Wait.